Welcome to Sharing with Susan B. Hi, I'm Susan Blaine, and welcome to Sharing with Susan B. and this special three-part series with my good friend Don Lachance. We're talking about loss, specifically redefining loss or what we think about loss. We are sharing and having some pretty powerful conversation that a lot of people, as Don and I like to talk about, are uncomfortable with. So we want to make it comfortable for you to have uncomfortable conversations. So we're going first. We're leading.
I love that.
He's a grief and loss specialist. I'm just a bystander going through my own stuff. We share a little bit about our own stuff. We really appreciate you tuning in and daring to be here and maybe taking some steps yourself. Loss affects so much of what we do, and sometimes we just don't even realize it. So that's what we're hoping to shed a little light on today. It's the uncomfortable stuff that most people avoid, and we're getting right into it right here. In the first episode, we kind of talked about some of that intangible. Don also shared a personal story of losing his son recently. And, I remember something you said to me, Don, in one of our many conversations, because we had been looking at doing this for quite a long time and just things happened. Mm-hmm. And here we are today, thank God, doing it. Loss is cumulatively growing is something that you said to me. And it's something that stuck in my mind, and I thought we could chat about that.
Yeah, loss in and of itself. And when we begin to understand the difference between the emotional grief we experience and the same emotional angst and discomfort that comes along with all of the intangible losses that we talked about in just our earlier conversation.
Yes.
When we speak those words that loss is cumulative,
yeah,
and it's cumulatively negative, is how that unfolds. And we're completely unaware of it.
Well, this is it. So, when you say that, so give me an example that somebody maybe could relate to.
Well, here's one. And, and it floors me really, when I think about this, because it's an example I'll use often. If you've ever moved as a child.
Yes, quite a few times.
Quite a few times. So let's just dial back the clock and let's go back to that. When you found out, the day you found out you were moving, what began to happen in Susan Blaine's little heart?
Oh, nervousness, fear. Those are the two things that I think about.
Well, you think about that, right? And you're feeling all of this anxiety because now all of a sudden the safety of your school,
yes,
your friends,
yes,
you're moving to somewhere different. There's all of this like unknown that's unfolding.
Yeah.
And we go to our parents and we want to express that. And what are we told? Dad's got a better job. We're moving into a nicer house.
Yeah.
You're going to make new friends.
Yes.
Here, darling, here's a cookie. You go watch TV.
Hence my sugar addiction.
Well, we make light of it, but it's
so
truly,
true.
But you stop and you think about that. You experienced incredible loss.
It's not acknowledged or even talked
about. None whatsoever.
It's just pushed aside.
And they begin the conditioning. Yeah. Replace the loss. You're going to have a new school. You're going to have new friends. Don't feel bad.
You can have your own room.
Oh, like all of it.
Wow.
And they're not acknowledging any of the pain that you're experiencing. And so we're taking that in, and the conditioning has begun.
Wow.
So, that's just that's a really good example.
Accumulate.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because we take the pain from that and we put it in this fictitious backpack, and we carry that around with us. And we experience loss after loss after loss after loss after loss.
What kind of an impact do you think in the work that you've been doing and seeing what kind of an impact does that cumulative loss have on the way we behave, the way we move through our life?
Well,
because it can have some positive effects too. I mean, I think about your question. I think about my childhood, and I changed schools several times. And what did that teach me? Yes, it was uncomfortable. I wasn't necessarily the most popular because everybody had been together for so long, but it also taught me to be adaptable, taught me to embrace change, to adjust.
There's all of those things. I'm not saying that we don't experience some good things as a result of that, because it provides us with resilience, it provides us with adaptability, it provides us with a number of different things. But at the same time, let's not discount what it is we're really talking about here. And we're talking about how loss affects us. And we don't want to step into that discomfort. See, we already want to look at all of the good things.
It's true.
You see?
True. That's escaping it too.
Absolutely.
Dealing with it. Yes.
You see, it's just.
I love this guy.
We wanna move into like, oh geez, all the good things. And so we diminish the pain that we're actually feeling, or that we felt, because we never completed, we never talked about it.
No. Well, and that's something I guess I did develop. I developed a healthy mindset. I developed to be a people pleaser, and I read recently something about a quote that I posted about, those of us that are walking around with these, positive mindsets and behaviors, and what we're doing often is really hiding from some of that pain, some of that stuff that we don't want to deal with, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, see, right away you wanted to go to look at all the good things I got out of this. Right? I became adaptable. I became resilient. And that ties into one of the myths, like being strong for other people.
Oh yeah.
And those are the badges we want to wear. Those are the things that keep people at bay.
Well, and a lot of advice that people also give you when you're going through something tough: stay strong.
Oh yeah. Don't
that makes you stronger.
People
what
share.
doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
Yeah. Like, how unkind can you be to somebody that you care about to tell them to be strong during a time where they should feel free to fall apart and just be held?
I remember actually feeling that way, to be honest, when people were, and they have good intentions. That's all they know to say,
That's how they're equipped.
That's how they're equipped. And I remember it not making me feel better, making me feel less than, because strong was the last thing I was feeling.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's that aspect of it. So they'll speak things that, although are intellectually accurate, like here, let's look at a breakup.
It's true.
Let's look at a breakup.
Yes.
Okay? Oh. Well, what happens? Your friends, meanwhile, don't worry, Susan, there are plenty of other fish in the sea. Like, I don't know how many people haven't heard that. Like when they broke up.
I think that was one of the
somebody.
first things I heard.
Yeah.
From a man.
And your friend was well-meaning,
mm-hmm.
And intellectually accurate. Yes, there are a lot of other males out there. There are a lot of other partners out there. They don't acknowledge the loss. They don't allow you to just experience that and feel badly. The minute you start to feel bad, people start either pulling away or pushing you away.
Yes. Well, it begins to make them uncomfortable.
Well, it's a lens for them, right?
And I could feel that from people.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped sharing because I could see that it was making them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's the people pleaser, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a cycle.
So yeah, it's a cycle.
Right?
It's a cycle.
So I would spend more time with myself.
Isolating.
Yeah.
I used anger as a management tool for years. Everything comes to us in waves, right? There's awareness, there's acknowledgement, and then there's acceptance. And it's the wrestle between acknowledgement and acceptance where we take that little 13-inch journey, 13 inches in the average human body from a head to a heart.
Oh, wow.
Okay? But the longest trip most of us will ever take, because we're conditioned not to feel, not to experience anything that way. So when we accept, that's when we step into the responsibility of implementing and taking action on the knowledge that we've taken in, that helps us move towards healing, towards
How do we
recovery.
do that, Dawn? How do we do that when we're stuck? Because so many of us, I work very hard every day on internally, more than I think most people would. It's hard work, but it's brought me so far. I wouldn't be where I am today from where I was 2 years ago if I didn't put in the work. But, you know, as we've been talking about, most people, number one, aren't acknowledging it. They don't realize the cumulative loss that they have going on. And what can they do to sort of pattern interrupt this habit that they have and start to turn it? Because there is a positive when we start to deal with it. There's a glorious freedom on the other side.
Absolutely. And it's part of that. It's you know, I started off with saying that, you know, I used anger as a tool, right, to isolate, because in those three elements, in the awareness, the acknowledgement, and the acceptance, like the wrestle to move from a head to a heart, is the acceptance. It's stepping into that responsibility to begin acting, to begin admitting, to begin speaking about, to begin voicing, to begin acknowledging the deep hurts, the deep offenses that have happened. And not just to like set your face like flint and move forward, but to actually sit and experience what that pain is like, to feel what that pain is like, so that you can begin to just allow it to dissipate. And that's where the true power of surrender comes in.
Oh, I love that.
You know, it really is, because when you think about when you're battling something,
yes,
just the term in and of itself,
just the word,
in battle.
Yeah.
You're in battle. Where's relief in that? Nothing. It's very, very difficult work. And we battle to keep our emotions at bay. We battle to keep the pain away. We battle to not feel bad.
Jeez, that's a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
No wonder we're weary.
Yeah,
we're
very
tired.
So then you stop and think, what can you accomplish when you're tired?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Channel surfing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Netflix.
Numbing. We become, and here, like, let's tie it back in, cunning and baffling. Right?
Yes.
The things that we take on, like, this isn't hurting anybody. You know?
And it's really about just taking some time, right, to be with it all instead of distracting ourselves. So how do you kind of start that? You know, back to that same question, you know, do you just get to a point where, which is what I did, where I was just sick and tired of, you know, being in that place, feeling constantly anxious and sad and tortured and in pain. And I just knew if I didn't do something about it, because COVID was going on, I didn't have the opportunity for therapy. I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, but COVID hit and there was no program to support me. So I call it do it myself, you know, and I've got a toolbox. There's a lot of great teachers out there. There's a lot of great stuff like this you can listen to, but you got to do it.
Well, it's doing the work. It's not just thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
The first part is accepting the fact that you're feeling it.
Yes.
You know, and that in and of itself, and again, like
Step
I want
one.
to tie it back into the conditioning.
Yeah.
We've been so conditioned to not feel, and we've become extremely skilled at dodging it when we do.
You think men are more victim to this than women are? Do you think?
No. No, because in there lies the danger of comparison.
Okay.
Right? Emotionally, we're all equal.
Oh, agreed. It's a human thing.
And emotionally unhealthy, we're all equal.
Yes.
And so, you know, I think there are layers in different aspects of relationships where we're maybe impacted a little differently, but we're impacted nonetheless. And if you peel back just all of the wishful thinking or the need to reason things out, pain is pain.
Pain is pain.
Pain is pain, and it doesn't
keeps,
matter. Yeah.
And it keeps us stuck.
Well, and the more
we
you
got to
wanna
feel
say
it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Instead of avoiding it. And that's
Absolutely.
really what we're talking about, right?
The willingness to do that. Like, you know, it, and when you talk about surrendering and what that really means, for me, it's always taken on this form of, you know, we battle to feel like we're in control. And it's the last thing that we ever experience is any form of control. And then you learn to surrender, and lo and behold, you sit in a place of undeniable control.
It's so true.
Because
it's so
you're not striving, you're not looking to beat, you're not battling, you're not in turmoil.
Yeah.
You're simply sitting, and
Yes.
you experience control for the first time ever.
Yeah, it's so true. How do we get there? Is there an easy button, Don?
No. No. You know what? If it was easy, like,
we wouldn't be having this
conversations like this wouldn't be taking place,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's one of the things I'm really just grateful for. Like finds like. And, you know, it's hearts who are willing to show up authentically. You know, vulnerability for me is the willingness to show up authentically. It's the bravery of being willing to show up authentically.
Yeah, not not knowing what the outcome will be, just showing up.
Just showing up.
Yeah.
And not wanting to control it. Like, you know, it's funny, right? Because coming over here, I'm playing all these scenarios through my head. Like, you know, how's this going to unfold, and how do I prepare, and how do I say this just right? And, you know, I don't want to forget how to mention this and say that. And that's me behind the driver's seat in the car. Like, you know, metaphorically, I'm driving over here, so it's a good analogy, right? Like me in the driver's seat and wanting to do that. And who am I helping while I'm doing all that? And I'm concocting, and I'm looking to fabricate, and I'm looking to set up a scenario so you fall prey to my emotional wrangling.
Wow. Let's just sit with that for a minute. That was powerful.
Well, it's set up. It's set up, and it's me not being here authentically.
And it's all about you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And our intention, our essence around these conversations is not about you. It's not about me.
Absolutely not.
It's about the conversation that we're having that can help somebody else. It helps me. I love these conversations all day, every day. I wish I had more people like Dawn to have those with in my life. Sometimes I feel...
Let me share something with you, Susan. Every person out there is like me.
Yeah.
We just never hold a safe space for them to show up because they're not accustomed to it.
Oh, I want to. We want to. That's what we want to do. That's what we're doing.
We want to. And words like this, like, you know, it's the willingness to sit and talk about this in real ways.
Yeah.
Right?
Because we're just real people, you know. He is a grief and loss expert, you know, but we're just
grief
real
and loss
people.
expert because I've had lots of grief and loss. and the only difference between me and everybody else out there, and hear me when I say this, is the fact that I've done the difficult emotional work. And I say I've done. It's an ongoing process because every day we experience loss. Yeah. Whether it's loss of credibility in an argument with a friend, whether it's loss of just safety because of what's unfolding, whether it's loss of value because, geez, I had a conversation and I didn't get my point across.
Loss of connection.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what's really happening in the world, this loss of connection. I feel like our intimacy is being robbed, you know. There's a loss, big loss there. But you're so right. You know, we could go on forever, and we are going to have a part 3, so stay tuned. But that's all we're going to do for today. We hope something that you've heard here today has been helpful. And that's why we're here, to start a conversation, to open it up, to dare to be vulnerable. We would love to hear from you in any way, private message, comments on the platforms that you're watching this on. If you're wanting to share, because sharing really is healing. And remember, keep saying it, it's a human thing. And we are truly in this together, the loss thing. We hear that a lot, but loss is prevalent in so many ways, tangible and intangible. And that's why we're here. So thank you so much for joining us, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.